Tots wisik nunim tsekin. Akuse mam tak as ausina. Wakepainik.
When Chief Joseph said he would fight no more forever at a place called Bear Paw, he gave up his rifle, but not his way of life or his claim to his ancestral land. Today, 130 years after the last great battle of the Nez Perce War, the descendants of Joseph's band still practice the old ways on the Colville Indian Reservation, where they live in exile far from their ancestral land, the Wallowa Valley of Oregon. Their Nez Perce language ties them to their native land, but there are only a handful of native speakers left on the Colville. If the language is lost, the elders fear, so too will be their ties to the Wallowa.
I think our backs are against the wall, so to speak, in the sense that we only have 3 or 4 or 5 who think the language. They just speak it right out, without hesitation.
That's
how close we are. That handful of people are the only ones left, and they're in their 80s and 90s.
To understand the importance of their language, one must understand the tragic history of the Wallowa people, who were forced from their land by the incursion of whites in search of gold. The trauma of leaving has been passed from generation to generation, and the elders still weep when they think of Joseph's people looking down into the Wallowa as they passed into the Snake River Valley.
I often used to picture in my own mind, I wonder what it was like to go over that saddle and then look back. Some of them realizing or not realizing, this is the last time I'm going to see my home.
The Nez Perce, who refused to give up their native lands west of the Snake River, led the U.S. cavalry on an extraordinary 1,300-mile chase across the Lolo into the Yellowstone and up into Montana, until Colonel Miles caught up with them 40 miles from refuge in Canada. Many, including women, children, and elders, were killed at the Battle of the Big Hole. Some, led by Whitebird, escaped from the final battle at Bear Paw. Of the estimated 800 people who began the journey with Chief Joseph, only 431 remained when the Nez Perce War ended on October 5, 1877. They were forced to live in Oklahoma, where many died of disease and starvation. 8 years later, the 268 surviving members of the Joseph Band were allowed to return to the Northwest, but never again to the Wallowa. Joseph died on September 21, 1904, at Nespelem on the Colville Reservation.
This is our final resting place of the Wallowa people. Many of these people down this way tend to be the ones that were with our chieftain at the time. And this is their final resting place.
Today, the handful of native speakers of Nez Perce work to record their language as it was once spoken and pass it along to the next generation, the descendants of the Chief Joseph Band of Nez Perce.
This is how it was written by an elder who did the best she could writing the sound. But we looked at this and could not determine exactly how.
For the time being, we're trying to pass on valuable stories of the past and legends, and trying to get the words on out to the others that they'll be able to speak it too.
Sometimes the language defines us in a different sort of way than can be done with English. You can get a shade of who we are using English. But if you understand our language, that helps define us even more. Which can be said like, there's more to us than meets the eye. We have all these things in place, just listen to the language. We have a law. We have a way. We are in a sense, civilized in that way. Maybe not on the grander scale, but we are a people. And if we lost the language, maybe we lose the heart of that.